Welcome to Kentucky Football Nation. All right, Will Stein had his very first press conference. Uh, Very good press conference, very informative. I'm not going to go over the whole thing. You can go back and watch it. I'm just going to go over the major points. I will do a live tonight. This is Monday night. I know it's the national championship game, but we're going to talk about Kentucky football, 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern. If you want to jump on and talk about this, we'll talk more about this. Coach Stein said we added 34 portal players. We added a wide receiver today. We added a defensive lineman today. So 34 portal players, 17 high school players. That's a total of 51 players. I will have to get on the our old roster and see how many people were retained. But yeah, we're getting close to now. You're in that 85 number you're trying to reach. Room to add players, they ask him. Look, he said we're finished with the roster, but we may add some players, but it really sounded like we're pretty much done adding players. Okay, so that's what it sounded like to me. The way he said it was, you could tell. So I don't know. Obviously, we can add some players. There's not going to be any more real high dollar players added. You can tell that. Okay, the wide receiver, we got a car from Southern Utah. Okay, but yeah. So we may add some players, but I don't think it's not going to be anybody major. Then they ask why he went after Minchie as his quarterback from Notre Dame, and he said because of his accuracy and his upside, and watched a lot of film, talked to a lot of people at Notre Dame, and obviously, yeah, from the limited amount of film that you have on him, you can see he can run this offense. So the wide receiver room, that's what everybody's worried about. He said he feels good about it, and we have a lot of good young players. They are young guys. If we got DJ Miller played in a couple games. The UAB kid, we have a couple of experienced receivers, but not a lot. Look, that's the way it's going to have to be. So that's what we're going to go with. And he talked about the running back room later, and we'll talk about that. But yeah, so the wide receiver room, pretty much done, guys. I think this was the fifth guy out of the portal, and so yeah, and then we have I don't know how many left. We have DJ Miller, and I don't know anybody else there's nobody else that played that we have left. So we'll see what happens. We can still add people. Then they talked about the people we brought in who are injured. Okay, he talked about that. What's the key to keeping them from getting injured again? And of course, Stein said the key is strength and conditioning, which is what he should say. Yeah. And also, I'll add one, luck. Okay. It's also going to be luck involved. Yeah. If Nick Anderson gets hurt, a wide receiver, yeah. If certain people get hurt, yeah, we don't have a big depth at a lot of positions. But so, yeah, strength and conditioning, and I'll add luck for him. Okay. How did they evaluate the returning players on who they were going to keep? Was a good question, and he said they carefully chose the players he wanted to keep by watching film and figuring out who fit the offensive and defensive schemes. So there you go. Obviously, Marquise Humphrey-Grace, Ty Bryant. All right, then we talked about Ty Bryant, huge best player we re-signed. He's all conference, great athlete. So yeah, we needed to have him. Whatever we paid him, we needed him because in the 4-2-5 defense. He'll probably play. I'm going to assume he's going to play the rover position, which is the most athletic position, and he's going to be all over that side of the field. So, yes, Ty Bryant, huge re-sign, and I'll add Marquise Humphrey-Grace, Sam Green. There's a couple people, especially on defense. Rodriguez, offense. So yeah, we brought back the players we needed to bring back, but he did. Obviously, somebody asked about Ty Bryant because I think he's a Lexington kid. So. Then they ask about the importance of the offensive line. Okay, we're getting into some vanilla questions here. Obviously, he said it's a major building block of the team. And then he pointed out that Lance Hurd from Tennessee cost a lot of money, but the left tackle is the most important position on the offensive line because it protects your quarterback. And left tackles, other than quarterbacks and wide receivers and running backs in the NFL, they want left tackles. So obviously the left tackle and the center we got obviously huge. So yeah, the key is no injuries. We don't have a lot of depth, good depth on offensive line. So once again, strength and conditioning, but luck. So yeah, but that's why we paid so much for him, and we should have. Here's a question, guys. The question of the hour: is UK fully committed to football? Yes, well, yes. Of course he said yes. Yes, and he said Mitch Barnhart is the best AD in the country. Right. Sure he is. I would say that too. We'll see. We're going to see. Obviously, we spent more than last year. Obviously, that's obvious from what we didn't spend anything. I didn't say we didn't spend anything. We didn't spend as much as we should have or could have. So, um, but that was the right answer to give. You're not going to say no. Okay. Until spring practice, what are the players doing? That was a good question that came up next. They're working out 4 days a week. They have meetings and they do team bonding activities until spring football. So yeah, they're still working out and doing things. So nice standard question. Then someone asked about offensive line coaches. We're getting ready to add a third offensive line coach, but we really need five. So we're going to add a GA and a student assistant so we can have five offensive line coaches. He stated that he needed five because there's so many people on that group. So hey, if we need five, get five. Talked about Jamarian Harkless, of course, the defensive line from Purdue, and he's a Lexington guy, and he said he wanted him because he has chops and he can wreak havoc. Yeah, he's a big boy. I'm sure. I'm going to assume he's going to play the nose tackle. So yeah, good, good, good acquisition in the portal. So, and he's from Kentucky. He's from Lexington. So, yeah, he's a 1 year player. I think he's a 1 year player. I could be wrong. Could be a junior. They talked about Jay. Why'd you choose Jay Bateman as your defensive coordinator? Okay, so obviously because he's a veteran coordinator, but his schemes are aggressive and creative, and he's a stellar recruiter. Now, Jay Bateman's top of the line defensive coordinator, guys, and we have put a lot of money into defense, which we need. As I keep saying, you can score, but you got to stop people. You can't keep giving the ball back to a team that's better than you because they're going to outscore you. So I thought we did well with everybody we picked up on defense. We're actually picked up, in my opinion, we picked up better players on defense. Well, I should say, well, yeah, if you're looking at the injuries, just as good at players as we did on defense as we did on offense. They're just not big names that you would know. But no, we picked up some very good, very solid players on defense. Two defensive backs from Florida. I mean, stellar guys. So yeah, we've done well. Then he talked about the running back room. Okay, a little bit of a glimpse into something here since we don't have so many wide receivers. He said both Barnes and Baxter are experienced, and the running backs will be used a lot in the offense. So in other words, we're going to run the ball. Yeah, I mean, we're going to run the ball. So I can see what he's saying there. And the wide receiver catches passes in this. You will go out and catch passes. So yeah, he said we'll run 2-back sets. He said something about a 3-back set, but I mean, come on. And of course, yeah, we got one guy returning. So I'm sure we'll use the running backs wherever we need to use them. The linebacker room. Somebody pointed out the portal linebackers we got were inexperienced. Okay, the guy from Texas, Bo. I can't think of the guy's name now from Texas off the top of my head, but Stein pointed out that they're inexperienced, but they work hard and they're ready to play. In other words, they sat behind better players, and now they're going to play. So yeah, the linebackers we got, and of course we still have Sam Green and a couple of the linebackers. So we had like 4 linebackers left over off the depth chart. So I think we're fine at linebacker. But the kid from Texas, yeah, he's going to start. Then what did he ask about? Ponatoski. Okay. Why do you like Ponatoski? He said he's really accurate and he's a winner because he was at Cincinnati Moeller High School, one of the biggest high schools in Ohio. What else did he say? He said only a few people have been Mr. Football and Mr. Baseball, okay, in Ohio. Everybody wanted him because he was recruiting him in Oregon. And then somewhere later, somebody asked him about the MLB draft. What if he goes to the draft? Look, he pretty much gave a standard answer there, but there's nothing you can do if a baseball team wants him and they sign him and he doesn't go. That's going to be up to the kid to decide. The kid said he's coming. So if he comes, he comes. I mean, what are you going to do? There's nothing you can do to stop that. Then they asked him a question. I thought this showed what kind of man Will Stein is. They asked him about the high school players that Stoops recruited because, he could have cut every one of them loose. He could have just called every one of them. Nope. He said he kept the ones that wanted to come and let the ones go that wanted to go. Like we lost a wide receiver to Georgia, but no, he said he couldn't drop a high school player on day one. And I agree. The kid gets here and you go, yeah, sorry, we can, or we can't use you. So yeah, he's given all the guys. He took all the players that want to come, and there's some good players in there. And there's four. I think there's four wide receivers in there. Stoops didn't get the kid from LSU, but Darby. But yeah, there were three other wide receivers, and there's a decent running back, Deuce Alston, in there. So yeah, he kept the guys. I thought that he didn't give him the old Lane Kiffin, hey man, don't even come here, or when you get here, yeah, we're going to just cut you as soon as camp starts. So I thought that was nice of him. Now we talked about what's the identity of the team. Well, it's yet to be determined. I agree with that statement. You don't know what the identity of the team is because they haven't played together, guys. I mean, we don't know trying to determine how many games you're going to win, we're going to have to get on spring football and then watch the spring football and watch summer camp and see how is the team gelling. Is this going to be a basketball team where people fight with one another? Surely to God, it will not be that, and not in football. I say that. So yeah, it's yet to be determined. Obviously, we don't know. Good answer. The tight end room. Okay, now talked about the tight end room. He likes Skinner, the kid left over, but they talked about Rodriguez. He said Rodriguez can play multiple spots. Where have you heard that, guys? Who's the first guy to say that? I don't know if they said it on Locker 411, but with Van Hiles and Anthony White. But I said Rodriguez can play a wide receiver spot. Okay, he does not have to play the tight end spot in this offense. It's a spread. Okay, the tight end spreads out all the way over in the boundary or in the slot. So look, you can play Rodriguez as a wide receiver. See, I just watched some film and I went, oh, okay. The tight end, Rodriguez could actually play one of the other. Couldn't play the X receiver. That's going to be Nick Anderson, your speedster. But he could play one of the other wide receiver positions and let one of the other tight ends play tight end. So if you had to do it, you could do it. That's how good Rodriguez was. And yeah, that was the key. We had to have him. And look, I was the first one to tell you, he's not going to leave, surely to God. That would have been a huge mistake. You got a chance to go to the NFL, playing in an NFL offense. NFL, the same thing. Nobody uses the tight end except for the Colts and maybe the Titans. Maybe that's why they're not in the playoffs. They don't use the tight end as traditional. He goes out as an offensive player. So yeah, tight end room is good because we had Skinner. We had 3 or 4 tight ends left over. That's why we didn't get any in the portal, guys. We didn't need any. So yeah, tight end room, good to go. Okay, now look, guys, this next, I ain't going to give this guy. Nick Roush got laughed at. Okay, guys, look. If you're going to ask a question, you got to know your audience and kind of what you're asking. I understand why he asked this question, but you got to know when to ask the question, who's in that room, okay? I mean, I'm not going to give him a hard time. He got laughed at. He asked a question that I wouldn't have asked. He asked about young, inexperienced coaches on the coaching staff. Well, that wasn't the right question to ask Will Stein. Will Stein said, who? Who are you talking about? Of course, he didn't have an answer. I mean, look, I understand. Like I said, I know what you're going to say. He also said experience is relative. Of course, he's going to. Football is not the way it was 20 years ago, and it's a new age of football. And then he reminded Roush that, hey, I'm young. So, yeah, I understand what you're trying to say, but come on, man. I'm going to get off of that. Let's get off that. Recruiting tall players. Why did we go after tall players? And he said on purpose, he wants players with height, weight, and strength. That's the players he's recruiting. Those are 3 important traits that he looks at. So he wants big, tall guys who are strong and fast. There you go. And so there you go. Then a couple more questions here, guys. I'll go over. He talked about quarterbacks left over on the roster. Brennan was one quarterback he pointed out that he liked on film. He said he was impressed with him, and he said the quarterback room is solid with the additions. Yeah, with the Marshall kid and escapes me the other Florida Atlantic kid who hasn't played at all, but the Marshall kids played some. We're good at quarterback, so we'll see. Then recruiting younger players. We in the portal we went after players who are freshmen, and he said the only drawback is, which is obvious, guys, older players are stronger. because they've put on more mass. They've been in the weight room a lot more. So that's the only drawback for a 17 or 18-year-old versus a 21, 22. You get freshman versus senior in it, but we did what we had to do. What we had to do. I get it with our budget. So then the last thing that I wrote down that I'm going to tell you, they talked about other things. Coaches, you can, if you want to watch the whole thing, go back and watch it. I'm just condensing it to 15 minutes here. What's the Stein offense? He said it's a blend of everything. It's adaptable and capable of playing many ways. And it's a modern offense. So he didn't give you a lot in there, but see what he did at UT San Antonio and what he did at Oregon. It's probably going to be a blend of both. So, all right, well, let's do a live tonight, Monday night at 7:30. As you're watching the national championship game, if you want to chime in on these notes, and we picked up 2 more portal players, we'll talk about it. Once again, if you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button, turn on the notifications. We do lives every week. I have a basketball section of my channel, so we do basketball. If you don't like football, I have basketball. We're going to preview the upcoming game we play on Wednesday. So, which we play Texas on Wednesday. So we'll preview that tomorrow, and have a short section of the channel with basketball and football shorts. All right, guys, I'll see you tonight on the live. Great press conference, good first impression. Hey, go Cats.